Hi everyone, it's Marisa from bumblebeeapothecary.com, and today I'd like to do another requested video and talk about how I take care of my cast iron. Here at our house, we love cast iron. We have this pan here, several different skillets. I think there's 3 different size skillets, a griddle, and a big 7-quart cast iron Dutch oven with a lid. This pan has a lid too. So we love cast iron. One of the things I love about the most is that when you care for it properly through just using it, it is very low maintenance. It is a safe, non-toxic cookware that you can use without worrying about chemicals leaching into your food, and it can be, when you take care of it right, very non-stick and a pleasure to work with. And lots of you guys have asked how I take care of my cast iron, so I wanted to talk about that. So you probably know that in order to work well, cast iron has to stay well seasoned. So I find that when we cook with lots of fat, like we always do, that it kind of tends to stay seasoned on an ongoing basis. So it doesn't take a lot of extra seasoning steps to keep it that way. And the key, like I said, is using a ton of fat, lots of animal fat. When you do research about what is the best seasoning oil, you'll see people mentioning things like flaxseed oil, corn oil, canola oil. Now, we don't like corn oil or canola oil on the Weston A. Price, Nourishing Traditions, or GAPS diets because those are not healthy oils. So I'm definitely not going to use them on my cookware either. Flaxseed oil can be okay in certain situations, but it's very fragile and I would not feel comfortable using it in something where it's going to be heated this hot. So I personally like to use a high quality animal fat because those are very stable at high temperatures, and I find that they work just fine for keeping cast iron seasoned. Tallow is usually what I use because I usually have that on hand the most, but lard works great too. So when I cook with cast iron, I make sure I use a ton of fat and I let it heat up and melt in the pan before adding the food. That gives me that nice non-stick surface and it helps maintain the nice seasoning layer on there. So a lot of the time, I will cook something using a lot of fat, like you can see in this pan. I sauteed some green beans and I used a ton of butter. And then if I want to make something else in this pan, all I will usually do is just wipe it out. Now, I usually like to stay away from using a whole bunch of throwaway paper products like paper towels, but there are a few instances where they come in really handy. I have tried cleaning cast iron with some rags that I wash, but they get so bad so fast. This is one of the few things that I do keep paper towels on hand for. So if I want to just make something else in it, I will just wipe out what was in there. And then it's good to go. It's ready for making whatever else I want to in there. So you can see what that looks like. Good as new, ready to go. So low maintenance. Sometimes I'll make something else where you do have to actually wash it, and most of the time I don't though. Most of the time I'm doing meat, vegetables, lots of fat, and just wiping it out and starting over and just keeping that fat ongoing is so easy. It's so much less dishes to wash, which, you know, if you're making a lot of food, that's always helpful. So if I make something where I do need to go in and wash, then I never use soap on these. I always just use hot water and a scrub brush. I scrub it out to get any chunks of anything away and then rinse it well. And then I'll dry it. And then a lot of times I don't feel like I need to go through extra seasoning steps because, like I said, I'm always cooking with a lot of fat. It's like an ongoing seasoning while cooking process. But if I ever feel like I do need to season, then I will rub a nice layer of fat all over, inside and outside, and then heat up my oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'll put the cast iron into the oven upside down for 30 minutes. And then if you're like, you bought a new pan and you feel like it really has a lot of seasoning that needs to happen, you can take it out, let it cool down, put on another layer of fat, and put it back in the oven upside down at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for another 30 minutes. You can repeat that a few times until you feel like you've gotten a really nice layer of seasoning built up on there. I usually don't have to do that since I've had these for a while, but that's the process if you do need to. And then let it cool down for the last time, and then it's ready to use. And that's really it. So those tips again are just using a ton of fat when you're cooking, which we want to do anyway on GAPS or Nourishing Traditions, Wise Traditions, Weston A. Price. And then just wipe it out a lot of times and you're good to go. And if you feel like you need to wash, I don't use soap. I just use hot water, rinse it out. I'll put on some more fat if I feel like it needs it and maybe stick it in there in the oven for a seasoning session. I really hardly ever do that though. It's usually just wiping it out and using them again. It's so easy. It saves so much time in the kitchen doing dishes, and I really love my cast iron. So I'll link my favorite cast iron pieces that we use all the time down in the description box in case you're interested in seeing what all we have and what we use and like. Hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any other questions, leave me a comment down below. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else who you think would like to see it, and if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I get out 2 new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.